recordings are missing.
I'll just check. Yeah, yesterday you had sent one mail, right?
Today mail also I talked to Amitesh.
Today you will get. Yeah, today you will get. YouTube, yeah.
No, YouTube it is not uploaded. I have tried to figure it out. That which one is my class, so I have not found. There also I have checked actually. And probably tomorrow onwards you are going for leave, no, for 5-6 days.
Yeah.
So if today only.
I make sure that right after the class I'll send it. I'll send one more text paper. Okay. Okay.
I'm clearing my backlogs. So you are replace this little upper or yeah. I replace one. I use this just only. Okay, instead of read, it's read lines.
Yes, so if I do read lines, it gives me a list of all the lines. So now I can have for loop and take, so this will be, if I say for I in A, this will be the value of I for the first time. Then it will be this, then this. So individually, each I will be a string. Okay. So read lines. And read line will give you the first line.
If you run it again,
no, it will give you the first line.
No.
Okay, after this.
Cursor will be.
Yes. Then next.
Line by
line. Whereas read lines will read the entire file and put every line as an element of a list.
Either equal or under the line in a for loop.
Yes.
And suppose if I want to do the iteration line by line, then
then you say do this. You see, if I do print I, it prints me line by line because there is a space.
Yes, that's what. So new line character will go away in this last line.
Yes. It's not actually going away. You see, there's a space here. That's because of it, because it was a new line.
Then within this, I can do all the string operation.
Yes, I now is your string.
Operations.
You can
this
perform any
operation.
operation.
I can change in the list and do all that.
Also, we have seen when we print how to print one by one, like one below the other. How do you print one beside the other? In the same way. Yes.
And
So
okay. I have used this one and because it is one of the program you have to use it.
Yeah.
It's on the same line.
Okay, so n is equal to just in.
So if you do the assignment, then you will use all.
Yeah, the assignments are quite extensive.
Yes. That assignment is actually very good for the learning.
Yeah, definitely.
If you don't do it, then you will not do it.
It touches all, yeah. It touches almost all the topics and all the concepts.
All concepts. It will make you think of them. Now, all the assignment we should do through class objects and functions.
Yes, now you should do through class and using exception functions.
Class functions and the basic concepts of operators and all.
That anyway
like a replace how I search because now I needed that.
Yeah.
Then I have searched it. Okay, this is the option I can use. Let's use that. Otherwise you will not remember.
Okay. So today we will start first with XML JSON process.
What is the second one? XML
JSON.
JSON. What is JSON?
Yes, I'll explain what these things are.
Yeah, I mean, before starting, like the structure.
Okay, yeah, so I'll do that. I'll
XML
do
JSON
that.
structure.
I,
Because
I,
I
I'll
heard a
just,
lot, but I've never known why this is what is so specific.
I'll do
What
that.
XML.
I'll, so this is how a typical JSON code looks like. It looks a lot like dictionary, but just that make sure it's always double inverted commas. Changes. You don't have to write to JSON. So what we are basically trying to do, or why this topic is so popular, XML and JSON processing, be it in any programming language. It's because when you're interacting with other applications, be it your server or any other application, you transfer some data or receive some data. Now, this transfer of data is usually in either XML language or JSON language. Okay, so you create JSON objects or XML objects to transfer data. Similarly, when some other application is transferring data to you, even your server, it will give you either JSON or XML file.
Like iDocs in SAP, internet documents.
Yes, correct.
For the task.
Yes. Now, if your application is written in Python, you cannot send Python data directly. You have to first convert it to JSON, then send it. Similarly, if your application is in Python and some other application is sending you data in JSON, Python will not be able to perform any operation on it. So you will have to process the data, convert it to a Python readable format. We usually convert it to dictionary and then use it. Okay, so that is what we are going to see today. So this is one JSON code, so I'm just going to copy it. So you don't have to basically write JSON code. You just have to convert, let's say, dictionary into JSON. Python will take care of the syntax of JSON and everything.
So this is the format of JSON file.
Yes. It's like a typical dictionary. You have keys and key value pair and nested dictionaries. So what I'll do is I'll create a new file. You can give it any name, just make sure it's .json. So I have a JSON file now. Now, in order to read JSON or process JSON or parse JSON, what I have to do is I have to import this JSON only. It's inbuilt in Python.
A small character.
Yes. In Python, almost everything is in lowercase except for the class name and constant keys. Only those will start with capital letters. Okay. So once I have imported JSON, now first thing, again, it's a file. So the same process, open a file and read it. If you don't write any more, it by default opens it in read. Okay, but then you can always
Generic for all files.
yes, yes. Okay. So usually we do variable.read, right? Here, if we do this, it will throw me an error because Python will not be able to read it. It's not Python that we are reading, right? Or it's not something Python understands. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to say JSON dot.
Python will not take it as a string.
No, it will not be able to. So you write JSON dot loads and pass this variable dot read as a argument to this loads function. So this loads function will first read it and then parse it to a Python readable format. So if I print A, you will see the content of JSON here.
So it understands the JSON signals.
Yes.
Suppose if there is a mistake in the JSON file,
Then it will throw an error.
then create one error in the file. Okay.
Expecting
Very
property name.
Okay, this will hint me that very good.
Now it's a dictionary. If you have to access
Is it a pure dictionary?
Yes, if you have to access a particular value, let's say I want to access this 55. So glossary, then title, then gloss div, then title. No, glossary, gloss div, and title.
Yes.
Hmm?
Can you go to
Within glossary, there was a key, gloss div. Within that,
title was also there, but it has only one value.
yeah, title is this.
Okay.
Whereas gloss div is a nested, has a nested dictionary as a key.
If we do type of A, it will go to
So
then why to create such a nesting and instead of glossary to put together?
no, how will you access it? When there's nested dictionary, how do you access it?
JSON has this kind of format, so
Yeah.
there must be some reason for this
The
format.
same way you have dictionary. You have nested dictionaries also, right?
No, that is fine. I am asking that JSON file itself has such a complicated dictionary why instead of why it is not a flat like a one step.
For the same
Because
reason
it
we
is the
have
purpose of
dictionary
transferring
inside.
data. So
Yeah, I mean you can have for one key, you can have a dictionary as value.
so we let me there is a website we import data from the JSON. Correct. So is it like this JSON format helps the UI building of the
No,
website
it's
or
just for transferring data. Now once you receive it, how you showcase it is up to you.
in backend or in that particular website or server, it is stored in the dictionary format.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
And, if let's say we need to represent this data in a tabular format or something, how
Then you read it and then perform all your, so you, like for example, here I've read it and it's a dictionary now. Now I have the information. Now one by one I can display it in however fashion I want, in whichever fashion I want.
so suppose if we have multiple 10, 20 values are coming and I wanted to process it. For all the 10 values I have to write like this for the keys.
It's reading the entire file. You have the entire file with you. Okay. When you have a dictionary, dictionary is also in the same format, right? Yeah, I can have multiple key values here. Now this might also have another level of nesting dictionary. So it's the same for JSON as well. When you read, how do you read this? The similar fashion you read this because this is nothing but a dictionary.
And every JSON file will have a like glossary.
No. These are just values, as in some data. This is just a sample JSON file with certain data in it. These are not keywords. These are some data. It could be employee, user, anything. These are just sample data. No. These are just sample data. Some sample data which I've picked up for JSON.
So like gross entry has so many values.
Yes.
ID, subs.
Yeah. This is just the sample data. Okay. So this was to read. Now if you have to write it, as in if you have to pass your dictionary into JSON, so first let's create a dictionary. I'll create a very simple one, key value. You can, however, have nested dictionaries. It wouldn't be of any difference. This time I'll open it in. You can open it in append also if you want to append to an already existing dictionary.
So the question of the
Mhm.
it's a property dictionary structure, right? So can a JSON file be manipulated? Not
Yeah.
nested.
Yes.
Not nested.
Yeah. Yes. It can happen. Okay. So now I cannot say variable dot write a. So what I'll do is json dot dump. This is the syntax. So this is the function dump, where a is what you want to pass and variable is where you want to pass. So if I execute this and go and check my JSON file, it has been overwritten by this.
Because there is a reference to the file.
Now let me quickly show you append also. So if I write append, you see another dictionary has been appended. So all you have to do.
You can do it the same thing with the text file. This will also happen the same.
No, this is json.dump. It only works for JSON file. If you try to do it with a text file, it will throw an error. This variable should have a reference to a JSON file.
You cannot write a dictionary into a text file.
You can, but as a string. It will write it as a string. Here it's writing it as JSON object. So all you have to do is remember this loads function and this dump function. This is all that you have to know about JSON pattern. Just this loads function and this dump function.
Everything is different.
Once you have a dictionary, all the dictionary concepts applies to it. That is why Python is so easy. All you need is to know a function to convert it to.
Many things in Python. So what?
Yeah. Yeah, just that there are so many libraries and functions that it's difficult to figure out what is what. Otherwise, the way of doing it is very simple.
So in Python, anyone can contribute to it. Like
Yeah, it's open source.
Open source, right? Today, I think these features are possibility or
Yes, you can code it and
if there is some
Community.
community where I can share and they will validate it. And there could be possibility that whatever I'm doing is already available, right? But is it easy to search what are different libraries?
it's all present in Python docs. I wouldn't say it is easy to search because there are so many. you search for any, if you want to search for anything particular, you can do that. This is your documentation.
So is it like for Python 2.7 there are separate libraries, Python 3.6 is separate?
You will get that list also. If you go to this PYPI, this is the Python package index. You get all the packages here with the description of what
we can install. Like something we can install.
Yeah.
Similarly,
okay. Now let's go to XML. Okay, while we are at it, let me open this. In GitHub itself, you go to Zlab's repositories, you'll find Python as assignment repository. You can also solve those questions.
those are different.
Those are different.
Those are same.
Python assignments. We have these questions. So this is how a XML file looks like. Now XML, the look and feel is a bit different. It has nothing to do with the Python dictionary or syntax. It's a bit different. Okay, so there is, it is, I mean, obviously it is also converted to a dictionary, or when we read it, it's in a dictionary format. But the way it looks is a bit different. Okay, so we have this, you can say, a parent element. Inside this, you have sub-elements like this and plus are sub-elements, and these are also not keywords. It could be anything. These are data. Okay, so you have and plus as nested values of my document. Then this and has another many, and okay, and this the one in white color is the value or the elements, and these in green color are known as attributes. Okay.
My document is what?
My document is like the main element. These are sub-elements. These are sub-elements of the sub-element. The green color ones are attribute, and these are normal values. And these are attribute values. The one in yellow is our attribute values. Okay. Okay. So now let's see how to parse these values. So okay, for this there is no inbuilt package. So what I'll do is I will open my command prompt, and here I'll have to install a package. In order to do that, we use pip. Have we discussed pip already?
Yes.
So pip install. For this, the package is XML2.
We need to
Install first.
yeah.
XML XMLTODICT. I already have it installed, so it says requirement already satisfied. So for you, it will start collecting. So it will start with collecting and it will collect all the values. Yes.
It will change the dictionary. Somebody must have created this.
Yeah.
Finally, everything has to convert it in dictionary. Then it will go.
Yes.
That is the basic concept.
Yes. And write it here. Okay. Once you have the dictionary, once you have this package installed, you have to import it. Okay.
Module name is also same. Can we see the content of this document?
Yeah. You see, it's this now. But we don't, thankfully, we don't have to worry about what's written inside. Yeah, you can obviously go to anytime you want.
Somebody already did a code to convert.
Yes.
Convert a string to list.
Okay. Now, obviously, I'll have to open it. These things will be saved. Okay. Now, some variable is equal to, again, I cannot say variable dot read directly. So what I'll say is this dot parse. This is the function name. Variable dot
Parse. We use this parse.
on JSON you had loads, right?
This is kind of this.
No, it's an ordered dictionary, kind of a collection. So see, here the order is very important. Like dictionary doesn't have an order, right? JSON also, if you don't have an order, that's fine as long as you have the hierarchy. Here order is very important. This has to be the first element. Within this you have and, then you have many. This is very important. That is why when you read it, it's an ordered dictionary. So you'll always find my document as in the first element first. Then after that, whatever attribute it has.
It says keyword order dict.
Yes.
Can you just
It's not a keyword. I mean, yeah, it's a keyword. Yeah.
Just enlarge it.
Sure.
So how to read this dictionary?
Okay.
Which
So,
will be the key
yes.
and which
So it starts with ordered dict, right? So this is the key. Then again another ordered dict. That means this is the value of it.
Then second.
And this is an attribute, actually, it's not a value. This is the value, and it's a value. Then you have
Start with
this.
the columns are not here.
No. This is an attribute of it. Whenever you have at the rate, right? At the rate is before an attribute name. So this is an attribute, this is the value of an attribute. This is the key of this my document.
So what is the attribute name?
Attribute is this. This is not the value. This is attribute and some property attached to it.
So this that is not look like dictionary, right?
It is. It is a dictionary.
My document, and then usually dictionary is key and value.
It's not. Okay.
And that is okay.
So it's a collections ordered dictionary. It's not the dictionary that we have been using. That's a data type. I mean, as a data structure. This is collections, and within collections, it's an ordered dictionary.
The format.
A bit
I
different.
suppose if you want to just patch one single value.
So if you want to write a particular value, you can do that. Let's say you want this attribute. So I will say my document. An attribute always has @ added to it. Suppose we want this value. So within my document, we have plus and then @
Within my document, we have and also, right?
Yes, but we don't need and ends here.
Okay. Yeah. Plus, actually, from the order, it's never difficult to do it. From this file itself, I have to identify my documents plus and then @. Initially, it was my documents and @ has. And how to go back to the complex is coming. Okay. And look at how to read the element as well.
Now you have to read it separately. Or
I think there is a U is coming. So U is the first thing wherever it is appearing.
no.
U @ is for attribute.
Yes, and hash text is for the text that is written.
If we need to read just elements, so we'll go to my documents and
This one
my documents and many
and
then hash text. But there are too many.
yes, you need a for loop for that.
So we have assignment on all those things so that we can practice.
Yes, you have assignment.
I want to read the inner
Now it says there are because there are two values of memory.
yes.
So what you can do is
There are two values.
you save it in a variable and then it's like a normal list.
Can you move elements and more elements?
So if you want the first one, I'll be index 0.
Collection dot order dictionary.
Collection C small. So this is how you read XML. Now writing XML is not something direct. For that, we have to import and I'm going to give give an alias to this because I don't want to keep writing this entire thing. Yes. All these are names of packages and modules.
People, those who work in the website design definitely must have heard
Yeah.
especially XML and programming. JSON is the general data dump, right? I think because of availability of feature like direct dictionary conversion is more widely used.
No, this is only for Python. For other languages also, you have different ways of passing and receiving. Because JSON is a lot like dictionary, so it can be directly read. Okay. Now, first thing that we'll have to do is create. For JSON, all I had to do was create a dictionary. For XML, I have to create a structure like this. Okay, this is known as a tree-like structure. Okay, so you have my document, which is branching to and plus, and is further branching to many. It's like a tree structure. You have to create that first using Python. So we know that there is a main element. So I'll create that first. You can give any name. I am giving it as main element. This is just a variable name, so it could be anything. Now in order to create this, we have a function called element present inside this module.
What it is?
So here, let's say if I write my document, it will create that, but then this could be anything. This could be something else. Okay, so this would be this element.
What is the content of the print?
No, right now it is nothing. It's just a variable. It will not. I have to create the structure first. I cannot print it. It's just an element at this particular value as of now, at this location. Then I have to create sub elements for this element. So sub1. So you have to first specify this sub element is of which element, like which element sub element is this. This is for
Main.
Yeah.
Main element.
So, main.
For this, we don't need to open the file in.
I'm not writing it. I'm just creating the structure first. Okay, and then the name of the element. So let's say I want to name it as sub1.
By code, we can make the structure at runtime as well. It looks like it's hard coding.
You can instead of passing numbers here, you have to pass data basically. These are my data. Now let's say I want to add attribute to this sub element. So to add attribute, you can add attribute anywhere to the main element, sub element, anywhere or both. So to add attribute, all you have to do is, let's say my attribute name is name. Okay. And the value of the attribute, whatever it is. Okay. Now let's say I need another sub element of sub1. So this is a sub element of
sub1.
and then I'll give
We
some.
didn't have to give the entire hierarchy.
No,
Just
no,
the
no.
latest.
Yes. Okay. Now I want to add some text to this sub one. These white colors are the text, right? So I want to add that. So how can I add that? Okay, you can add more elements to it, obviously. Okay. Now I have the structure ready. I have to package it together.
But before that, I want to do the same nested one. Like one more value text I need to add.
Okay.
Can you do that? Like many and many elements and more elements, something like that. Okay.
And give it same name. Okay.
Under sub one itself.
Let's give some other text so that you see the difference. Okay. Now in order to package it together, what I do is create a variable and then say ed dot element 3, and you pass the main element to it because everything else is related to that. So this will basically create your tree structure. No. Yeah, the structure is created. Now I have to write.
Because it will main element will take
Everything along with it. Yes. Okay. Now, in order to write, so you don't have to um, open or anything, just variable.write and the file name. I execute it. If I go back and check my file, it will have this XML written.
Why is not doing this?
Yeah, it doesn't indent it, but it's the same. Even if you read it like that, it will be the same.
So it won't give any error.
No.
Pass it.
No. Yeah. You want to see the output or no?
We don't. Anyways, XML is always like freshly writing it. Either we can read it or write it. Appending or anything. Appending in XML.
No.
It won't work.
Yeah. You can, however, open it normally and perform the write operation. Okay. So this was XML processing or parsing. This is how you write, and parse is the function using which you read. Okay. So now let's move on to next topic, which is
On XML, especially on XML, there is no other work individual. Either we create it, or is it like
it's basically to pass data or receive data.
is it like anything we need to let's change some value within the file or
Then
something,
again you read it, then perform the create the structure again.
and then write it that fully. And when XML or JSON, how do you decide the hierarchy? Which element I need to keep it there? Because what is the input JSON?
See, that depends on what data you are passing. Let's say I want to pass, there is a user, and for each user there are certain set of data. So I have to make sure that the first one is user, then there's this, and if it's JSON doesn't matter because the order is not important. But if it's an XML, then the order is important. So instead of passing it like this, I will create it. So I'll say main element is user.
No, instead of passing in like my basic question is that instead of passing this so complicated structure, if I pass it simple text file, then how does it make difference?
No, you cannot pass it like that. You
How
will have to
even the
create.
text file itself first field is the username, second field is like marks.
No, see, you have to create the structure first. So you are deciding what is your element, what is your sub-element.
Why to do all these things?
This is how
I
you
can
write
pass
it.
the data in the text file as well.
XML will not accept it.
That I know, but why do I make it acceptable? Why XML?
Because
If I will not use
applications,
XML, then what do?
otherwise it will all be string.
I have an application which accepts only the XML. No, no, what is so specialty about the
You can
XML?
differentiate that,
I will
okay,
use string.
you can differentiate that this is my element. If you're reading it, see, there is a difference between the operations that you can perform on a string and the difference between the operations you can perform on a dictionary, right? So if it's a string, you cannot perform those operations. Suppose I ask you to give me details of all the employees. If you give me a string, it will be a headache for me to store it in some other format, or to, let's say, create a table out of it, or extract data from that string for each user.
So like
The only way you can extract data from a string, the only way you can extract data from a string is using the indexes. What if you've given me a data of, let's say, 100 students? I will keep calculating the indexes. This is just one drawback.
Especially for the database operation kind of thing.
Not just database operation, anything extra. Wherever you are passing data or receiving data, whether you're storing it in database is a different story. But to read and send that data, these formats are easy because you're sending the entire data directly. If you're sending it in string, let's say you've received data in string, now you have to keep reading it index wise because that's the only way you can read a string. So it will become very tedious for you if, let's say, 1,000 entries are there. So that is why, and this is just one drawback of it. So similarly, there are other factors also. The reason why you use dictionary and string, there are differences. Same differences apply here.
There are many websites itself. If you are discussing, we need to give the data. We dump it there and then it can be easily visible on the web.
Okay. So next is functional programming. So here we will study about lambda. Lambda is also known as anonymous functions. So this is how we write a function, right? Let's say a plus b. Okay. Then we call it, we pass some values, then we get the answer if we print it. Right? Now the same thing if I have to do using lambda, how will I do it? Some variable is equal to lambda, then keep parameters. Let's say the parameters is a and b, comma, colon, the return statement, which is I have to print it as a print variable and pass the values of a and b.
This can be used only in small functions.
No, it can be used for multiple lines, but yes, so we usually, that's the drawback of this. That's one disadvantage that functional programming has in Python. So we only use functional programming in Python when we have smaller applications to perform, smaller functions to perform. For higher ones, it becomes more complicated. The entire purpose of using this gets lost.
And the purpose is like, is it Fast.
We will see. We will be using lambda in functions like map, filter, and reduce. We'll see. These map, filter, reduce takes function as an argument. Now, if we have a normal function, it will take a lot of time as well as a lot of lines of code. Whereas lambda, if the operation is small, whereas lambda is much more simpler to write. Suppose I have to write if else using lambda. So it takes two arguments. Let's say the value of a is 1, which is not greater than 5. Yeah. So right now a is not greater than 5, right? So it is printing me b because it said else b. If I make a greater than 5, it will print a. So till this level of code, it's fine. Goes beyond it, it becomes complex. So try and avoid using functional programming in that case.
This slide
Yeah.
if and else also. We can use else if really a else if.
Now we'll see the applications of lambda or where lambda is used. So for that, we will start with filter. Okay. So let's say there is a list of various elements, some positive, some negative. Now, if I ask you to write a function which gives me only positive values, so you'll probably start writing a function which takes an argument so that I can pass the list, then start a for loop, and then keep checking if I is greater than 0. Let's say append some empty list is there. Let's find a way to return or print B. Right? If I use filter, the same thing can be done in exact one line. Now I'm going to comment this. This is the list that I have. I want a list of positive numbers only. So what I'll do is I'll say print filter. I want a list, so it's a list of filter. Lambda, which takes, as I said, it takes function as an argument. So lambda a greater than 0, comma, don't put a because a is my list, some other variable, comma a, which is my list. bracket which was missing. So see, the same thing I was able to do it in one line.
Filter is also a function.
Yes.
Which takes lambda.
Which takes function as an argument. Lambda is nothing but an anonymous.
We could have
function.
given that where we could have called this.
Yeah, I mean you could have declared it separately and given. Like what I could have done is instead of this, I could have said variable is equal to this and given this variable. It doesn't make any difference. Now this x will take each value of a one by one. Check whether it is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, it remains in the list, otherwise it is filtered out. That is what filter function does. Based on a certain condition, it filters out elements. This is where you use filter. Whenever you have to remove or filter elements based on a condition, we use filter.
Same thing could have been done through if as well.
Yeah, this is what I did, right?
No, in lambda function also we could have done through if.
No, but then if this is true, then you have to append it to a list and that list has to be defined. So it is multiple step, multiple process.
No, we could have done
You're not returning here. See, if it is true, you want to append it to the list.
okay, one at a time for loop.
Yes.
Here,
It has to be a for loop first.
it itself is taking care of.
Filter has a unit function
Yes.
at the for this loop.
Correct.
And A is the input to lambda.
Yes. Each value of A is given input to the lambda.
If just trying to understand it better way, if I need to split, you still use lambda and you want to use this to first create a variable and then call the input.
Yeah, so that's what I did right now.
What will-
You remove this, you write a variable over here, and
Okay.
then you define a variable with the same. Give it the same value.
Lambda. And
Don't write it like this. It's better if you write it like this.
any other example?
Yeah, wherever you want to filter out elements. Let's say you want to filter out all the vowels from a string. Try that. Write a program.
Just displace vowels.
No, do not display vowels in a string.
Instead of x equal greater than 0, x equal to a, then a, I, o, u. Have to write it.
Write it out. So this is a string. I want you, the output should be
TH.
this should be the output.
And for this, we don't have to import anything, right?
No.
Is it like not in or like X not in AI?
Let them try and then I'll
We don't need a list, we need a string.
What? Need a string.
Almost. We just need to basically.
So here, it gives me a list. So I will have to join the list now. Yeah, you can do that in the same line also. So if you don't want it like this, and you don't want it to be in the second line, you just dot.
So we can put it up.
So that is what this. Okay. So this was the filter function. Now let's see, this was one application of Lambda, where you filter out elements based on a condition. Next is map. Let's say I have another list. Now if I ask you to give me a list with the number square, like that means the list should be a square, 4 square, 6 square, like this. So again you will have a for loop and then keep appending it to a new list or keep changing the existing list. Now using map, so again x will take each value from a and return the square. So filter, here there is a condition with lambda. Map, there is an operation. So map is used when you have to perform the same operation with all the elements of a data set, whether it be list or string or anything.
You can freeze the input.
Hmm? Yeah. So filter is used to filter out elements based on a condition. Map is used when you have to perform the same operation on all the elements of your data set. So
Conditional mapping,
no.
like based on the condition.
So this usually is done on iterable objects or could be
Yeah,
integer objects.
iterable object.
If it is let's say a integer, can you
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're able to go through a for loop, because this map has an internal for loop which keeps passing the values to it.
iterable object? So can it be tuple?
Yes, it could be a tuple.
Output because they are giving list.
Yeah.
Instead of list, can we do tuple? So, or to str if you write the string.
No, str if you write, it will not consider it. So for me, it's 2.7, so it's still showing the list. For you, it will just show the memory ID.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one is reduce.
You have to
So let's say this is my list. Now reduce is used when you have to go through all the elements and then get one result out of it. Like for example, if I need sum of all the elements present in this list, then I can use reduce. So in situations like sum of all the elements, product of all the elements, this is where, or concatenation of all the characters, this is where you use reduce.
Like that,
Yes. So situations where you have to go through all the elements and come out with one result by performing same operation on all the elements. So again, if I go by normal way, I'll have to create a for loop, keep adding and all this. If I go using reduce, here I'll not say list of reduce because I'm getting one value out of it. Okay. With reduce, you need two arguments.
one is input value, other is what to do.
No. See, reduce, as I said, it will be operation between all the elements. Right? So to perform such operations, you need more than one element.
If there is a string, I need to convert all elements of string to capital letter.
Then you don't need reduce, you need map. If you want one result out of it, then you use reduce. If you want to change all the elements, you use map. So here what will happen is x will take the first value, y will take the second value. Okay. Get the sum, which is 7. Then 7 is assigned to x and y takes the next value, 57. Then 5 plus, what was it? 7. 7 plus 57, which is 64. Then 64 is assigned to x and 2 gets assigned to y, and finally we get 66 as the answer.
So if you want to take the average of all this,
Then you first,
this number of elements is also
yes, so then you have to do length of your page.
that variable we cannot do.
Yes, very good.
Like x, y, we cannot define like that. Like automatically it will calculate the value.
No.
always we have to give two inputs.
Yes.
What is the length of A? We need average divided by length of A. Okay, outside of lambda we are putting.
Basically, we have to put it, whatever result we get, that has to be divided by this. So then average shouldn't be 4, right?
Yeah, that's it.
The thing is, A is input. We are giving it before comma.
That's not an issue. Problem what is happening is for every value it's doing this. The first time it was 3 plus 4, 7. 7 divided by. Oh, this is wrong. Why am I doing this? See, it's your reduce which is giving you an output, right? So that should be divided by the length if you need average. Got my point? This will give you the sum. Now you divide this entire thing. Right?
It's supposed to be float value. I think in this situation.
No, because minus 2.7. If you, yours is 3.6, right? You try doing it, it will be float. 2.7 divided by gives only the quotient. So this was about functional programming.
Only three things. Map
Map filter reduce using lambda. This is not something that is extensively used in normal programming.
whatever.
Any questions? Sure.
Then we move next to
Monday or Tuesday.
You told me yesterday that is on Tuesday.
30th.
Just send me the link of
Fine. So I have to send you the recordings, assignment, and the GitHub link, right?
probably this file.
This file. Sure. Sure.
And have you checked this exam paper?
Just waiting for everyone so that we can discuss it here itself. That's okay. You have a week's time. Make sure you finish it, and then we discuss everything in class.
Can you just send me the link right now?
Yeah, I'll send it right. The recording links, right?